Hello, everybody. It is so good to see you this Thursday night, January 12th. Wow, this month already is flying by. But hello. How are you? I'm trying to get used to this new camera location. It's a little high for me, but I'm going to do my best. Okay. So I think I do need to raise up the computer a little bit, although it might be a little tough for me to type on if I raise it up too much. But hello, I have my old microphone back on, so I'm curious how this sounds compared to the new one. I got my hair cut, and the lady did a lovely job. It's the same one who did it before, and she's great. She is just great. So you're going to sew and listen. All right. Oh, got the high winds and cold. Ooh, I guess because we had a storm coming through here, and Grommy is staying right up against me. But just let me know you can hear me. Just want to double check. So let's see who is here. And I signed on a little early, saw Marcia here ready to go. I tell you what, I really love that Marcia brings such sweetness to our show and looks out for everybody. And I really appreciate what she brings to the group. So, and I got to watch a couple of Carol, our Canadian artisan. I got to watch a couple of her shows, and they're lovely. And always, if you go to one of our friends' shows, always leave a quick little comment to let them know and to tell them they did a good job, because that really means a lot. It really does. I'm also going to write a link down to someone that Mark and I are in awe of the work she does. And I have mentioned her before. Some of you might recognize this, but her YouTube channel is Rail, I think it's one word, Cow Girl. So whether it's one word or three, I'm not sure. But she is the train driver, the engineer over in Norway. And we have really gotten addicted to her show because, especially at night when we're trying to wind down before bedtime, it is so peaceful. And for me, as a would-be artist, the scenery, all of that just inspires me. So I'm thinking, if I like it, you might like it too. But it's something that Mark and I love watching together. And we now know so much about trains and train regulations in Norway. It's almost spooky, But anyway, it's been a great day. I've been working all day because my Myrtle Beach quilt party's coming up, and I've got all the stuff to show you with that. And I'm going to let you vote on which landscape we're going to do. There were so many pretty ideas. I honestly didn't feel like I could make the choice. So I'm going to bring you in to help me. But let's go back and say hello. So we got Marcia and Mary and Debbie. Hi, sweetie. And let's see. Oh, boy, they're chatting away. I love all of this. I love when I come on here and y'all are all talking. Jody, it was so nice. I saw that Jody, I actually wasn't on Alex Anderson's live stream about her health and what's going on with her right now, but I saw Jody on there. And it made me feel really good because Jody is also now going to be an advocate, I can tell. She will reach out and help others that are going through that. So that just made my heart feel so good. Okay, so Jody is here. And Brenda Edmonds. Hello. We are very happy to see you. We do all kinds of quilting. My favorite, the closest quilting to my heart is art quilting. But I love all kinds of crafts. I always have said I needed 6 lifetimes to do all the things I want to do. And then hello, Laura's here. Hi, Laura. But Brenda, welcome. And if you think you like our channel, we even have a groups IO so we can share free patterns, ask questions, get help. But we do a Thursday night art quilt show and a Sunday overall general quilting show. And the Thursday night's an hour. Sunday, oh, we chat for 2 hours because that's when we just really, it's like a virtual quilt bee. And we have show and tell, so you can send pictures to me and I will put them in our show and tell. Oh, a first time to a live stream. Mary, hello. Now we've got a second Mary in the building. So I'm going to give you my email address, and if any of you have photos that you would like me to use on our show and tell, whoops, our time to quilt. And I even have my glasses on. No excuse there. At TWC, whoops, TWC.com. All right, so our time to quilt at TWC.com. It doesn't need any capital letters. It was just, did I tell y'all the other day why it's called lowercase and uppercase? I found that out when I worked at the museum in Maryland, and they had a reproduction book printer, printing press. They had a reproduction printing press like the Gutenberg printing press. And so the letters, the uppercase, were easier to read from a distance, so they were put in the uppercase because every letter had to go into doing the printing. The lowercase were a little hard to read, so they were right there near your eyes in the lowercase. That's where it came. Oh, you're so sweet. Well, you know what, Marcia? Whatever makes you happy. You are such a good crocheter. And you know what? Life is short, and do whatever makes you feel good. We want to, one thing to say, Jody, you're so sweet. It was our pleasure. We're keeping a woman named Carol, and we're keeping Alex Anderson in our good thoughts as they make their way through with, as they start their journey with breast cancer. And we're so proud of our Jody. She has been, you know how some students are just, some people just go straight to the head of the class. Well, that's our Miss Jody. She was amazing, and we love her to bits. All right, so let's see. Now, I think I'll start out by showing you what I've done to get ready for my class coming up. And I'll show you what the class looks like, I'll show you what the quilt is going to look like. Now, I'm going to take my camera with me, and I want to take you right along, and I'll film some of the driving, and then I'll film the hotel and our Sunday. Don't forget, our Sunday show is going to be at 7 p.m. And I'm so excited because I'll be doing it live from Myrtle Beach. And then I'm going to ask the teacher if I can just do some quick little film shots in the classroom and then show you that too. Because I want you to, like, what would it be like to go to one of these retreats? This started about almost 40 years ago. A group of 2 or 3 women said, we just want to quilt. And, it's hard when you have kids that need, feeding and taking care of. And they said, let's just get away. And I think they lived more in the Piedmont region of North Carolina. And they said, let's meet at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And we'll stay in a hotel for a couple of days and we'll just quilt. That's how it started. And Mardell Smith has kept it going all these years. And I'm lucky enough, this is going to be my 13th year, I think. 12th or 13th, something like that. So I'm very excited to go. So let me show you. One of the first things I do is as soon as they send you the email information and the form to print and fill out to sign up for your class and take and hopefully get the class you want, I have it in the mail that very day or at the latest the next day because I get very excited. They used to offer 2 classes. You would take one class on Thursday and Friday, and you would take a quick class on Saturday. But since COVID happened, they've just said, you know what? We're going to you do one class for all 3 days. And some people are liking it because you get further along. It's really hard in one day to get very far on a quilt. So I signed up for what's called the Exploding Heart Quilt. And because of COVID, they are giving each person their own table, which is wonderful. Spread out and enjoy yourself. I went to Myrtle Beach last year. I was too afraid of getting COVID since the year before I'd had my surgery and had to lose a kidney. So I was too afraid still. But this year I got that latest booster, which is such a magnificent shot. And so I got that. And let me see if I can move this one. I'm looking up very high at the camera. So it's unnerving me just a little. But we had to set up a new arm because my other arm was failing on me. But anyway, I'm actually going to go to the class. I've got hand sanitizers. I've got masks to wear if we get in if I ever getting on and off elevators, I'm wearing a mask. But I think at my table I'll be okay. At some point I have to try to trust the 5 COVID shots I've had. And but it's kind of nice now. I feel good that I've never gotten it. So I want to keep my run going. So here is the quilt we're doing. And I bet you can tell what I'm going to be sewing a whole lot of half square and quarter square triangles. But I love them. They're reasonably easy and they tend to be a little repetitive, but I think I can do it. And so I got the instructions in here, and it says that I have to cut 108 4.5-inch squares of background, and then 89, I think, let me put my glasses back on, 89 5.5-inch squares of background. Then 131 5.5-inch squares of the colors of fabric I'm using. Now, if you had a die cutter, they have instructions for that too. But I've got to be honest, I would hate sewing triangles. I much rather take 2 squares, sew them together to get a half square triangle than to try to deal with the bias edges on little triangles. So for me, I'll just go ahead and cut the fabric. I use a June Taylor ruler. Let me see. I brought it down here, but I put it back away. But here is one like it. And I love these June Taylor slotted rulers. They make cutting so fast and easy and accurate. So I absolutely love those, and I do pretty fast. Now, all right, so I've got the pattern. One thing I did to make it easy, in the book it says right here which blocks we're going to have to make. So she suggested we do all the fabric cutting, and then we take and draw a diagonal line on the back of all the 5.5-inch squares, so that then when it comes time to make the half square triangles, we'll be ready. Now, I don't think I brought my examples down. I always forget something, but what I did is I wanted to use some beautiful turquoise fabric that I had bought. And I had 3 yards, and the pattern calls for 4 yards. But I thought I went the other day and had to take my sewing machine to the shop. So I looked in their shop. I could not find the right color. But the good news is, lucky for me, I love adding Jenny Beyer fabric to every quilt I make. So I found a Jenny Beyer fabric that is such a beautiful match for this. I was able to cut all of my squares that I was supposed to out of the 3 yards, being very careful. And then I used this because she wanted us to bring extra fabric to make a 2.5-inch unfinished inner border to make the quilt look like it's floating. Well, I saw this and I said, oh my gosh, that is so pretty. I'm going to use that. Won't quite make it look floating, but I think it'll add a nice touch. And then it makes me very, very happy to use Jenny Beyer fabrics since I love Jenny Beyer. But you see, I tried to buy a yard when I took my sewing machine in. Didn't work. The turquoise that I have has more yellow in it than that blue. But this is a pretty good sky fabric. I'll use it for plenty of things. Don't worry. All right, so let me show you what I've done so far. So I got a folder. I label it. I keep all my stuff in this. And I use either a folder like this, or folder, or this big envelope, because it's too easy to misplace something at the last minute. If you have any questions for me, type them in the uppercase or all capitals, and I could easily spot them. And I won't worry that you're being rude to me at all. So anyway, so I had to cut, let me go back to this, 108 4.5 squares. So I have those, just my 4.5. Hold on, let me double check. Yes, I have 108 4.5 squares right here. So that's ready to go. And she said use gallon baggies to put your things in. Now, I'm going to put the different, I labeled them like she said for which block. So you can keep all the different parts together as you make them. Because then, after you make all of these, you are going to, are you ready? Follow the chart as to placement. Oh my goodness. Now that's only part of it. Here's the other half here. So I'm also going to take a flannel back tablecloth. You know the vinyl tablecloths you can get from the dollar store? That is great for design wall because they usually have flannel on the back and your blocks can stick to it. So that's what I'm going to end up taking. But here are my 4.5-inch blocks. The 4.5-inch blocks are blocks that are going to stay just as they are. They don't have to be sewn to anything else. So then she wanted us to do, this is some extra fabric that's in one of those. Then she wanted us to cut out 5.5-inch blocks. But I had a problem. My problem was I wanted to use these charm packs that go beautifully with the turquoise fabric. Well, I had 3 charm packs. That was pretty good. The problem is they're only 5 inches. So what I did, I said, I think I can make it work. But what I did was take a white 5-inch square and a gray 5-inch square, and I made a 1/4 square triangle, 2 of them actually, out of that fabric. And what I did is, it does, doesn't it? Oh, here we go. Sue, we're in Washington. I lived in Richland. Oh, neat. Oh, is Sue here? Hi, Sue Lambert. I love seeing you. Hello, hello. So what I did is I shortened my stitch length. That's important. And I shortened my seam allowance. And by doing a slightly shorter seam allowance, I was able to make the 1/4 square triangles, which is, that's the most any block will be sewn. And let me show you that just in case you're not used to a 1/4 square triangle. Here are the quarter square triangles, some with background, but this is a plain square. Now, if this is even a quarter square triangle because it has 4 separate pieces in it. What I also did, just to make it easy on myself, is I designed these blocks to mimic the blocks at the bottom, but made them a little bit larger, designed them on EQ8, then imported the pictures. I labeled them and wrote right there on that paper, I wrote how many of that I needed, and then how many background pieces and how many colored pieces. So that way, hopefully, it's going to make it a little easy. I haven't been in a classroom situation for over 3 years, and I'm afraid it's going to be a little loud and a little busy. I'm not used to it, so I'm trying to kind of go on, what can I do to make this as easy for me as possible? So, hello! Well, that's why I'm doing the thinking here. I don't do thinking well in a busy situation, but I can do the thinking right here a whole lot better. So, oh, sorry about that phone. I need to turn that off. But anyway, any other questions? Dolores is here. Hi, sweetie. So, what I did is I separated my charm packs into the separate colorways, like purple, green, blue, pink, orange, like that, okay? Then she said, oh, and this is for my border, so let me put this back in its baggie so I don't lose it. Here it is. And these are the baggies that once I start making the 6 different blocks, then they'll go in these baggies. But for now, keep something in it. That I love that. All right. Now, then she said of the 5.5-inch blocks, she wanted you to take your backgrounds and draw the line. And actually, since they're all going to be a form of quarter square triangle, you have to mark them twice if you think about it. So I do not like marking fabric. How long is the retreat? It's the sign-in day, the first day when the teachers do their show and tell, and when you sign in and get your tote and your little things and sign up. That starts Wednesday, and the vendors will be there Wednesday too. Then the class starts at 9 a.m. on Thursday, and you have like a 3.5-hour class, and then an 1.5-hour break, and then another 3 hours. And so that's nice to have that break. You can go back to your room, make your lunch, take a rest, whatever. And the classes are Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Saturday evening, we have a big banquet and show and tell where we get to show our quilts that we made. And then Sunday morning, everybody gets ready to leave. Now, I'm going a little bit earlier because I just want to be able to have some time to rest up and be excited about it. And, Mark said, stay a couple extra days, because they give you a really good discounted rate. And we're staying at the Doubletree Hilton. So it's a nice hotel. But anyway, so let me get back to this. Oh, and I was going to tell you, so Wednesday night, the teachers are doing show and tell. Thursday night, they're having a yard sale, or any person can bring things to sell. So I'm going to take my indigo charm packs. I'm going to take some necklaces, little things like that, if anybody wants to buy them. And then Friday night, I forgot what they do on Friday night. I don't know. But maybe Friday night, I'll just get to stay in the hotel room. Because I don't know about y'all, but I love staying in a hotel. It's never gotten old for me. All right. So she wanted you to take the 5.5-inch square blocks. And I only have 5, but I found if I shorten the stitch and make the seam allowance shorter, smaller, like instead of 1/4 of an inch on either side of the diagonal line, do closer to 1/8 of an inch. That's why I have to make the stitch length shorter. And be very careful, make a nice, straight seam. I can get away with it because these quarter square triangle blocks have to finish at 4.5. So I only, I'm starting with 5 inch and I'm going to end up with 4.5. So I've got to be careful, but it works. I did try it. So anyway, I don't like drawing a diagonal line on fabric. It's frustrating. It's hard to do. You have to put a ruler down hard because the fabric wants to go with your marking tool. So this is what I do. Now I thought with this one, normally when I do this, I'm always in a hurry. You know me. I will try to iron 3 or 4 at a time. That's not smart because they're not as accurate. So this time, since I was home working on it, I ironed them 1 at a time. Hi, Diana B. Oh, you're never late. You're right on time. So I ironed it first this way, and then I ironed it this way. And that way, I've got 2 lines on it that I can make sure I get some very accurate quarter square triangles. And by doing this, I don't have any markings on there that are going to get in the way once they finished sewing. I also starched the fabric first, then then ironed them into these quarters, and that way they'll hold the line good and until I'm ready to cut on that line. And so that's what I'm going to do. I will sew just 1/8 of an inch on either side of that the pressed line, and then with a very small stitch, I'll drop my stitch probably down to 1.8 instead of 2.2 or 2.4. Then I went ahead, and there are going to be some blocks that are all using the bright colored squares. So I went ahead and did 54 of them and pressed them. So now they're ready. The other ones that don't need, because when you do half square triangles, you only need to mark or press 1/2, usually the lighter color. So here are my other ones that are ready to go. So I'm really tickled. I got all of this done. And now the only cutting I will have to do is when I make a half square triangle, I'm going to have to cut them. Then I'm going to have to put 2 together to make a quarter square triangle. I'm going to have to turn them slightly, put 2 together, stitch them again. And so they talked about using a block lock ruler, but I looked them up and they were like $22, $24. And luckily I have this. Let me put my hand behind it. It is a perfect, wait a minute. It is a perfect half square and quarter square. Let me find it. Here we go. It's a perfect half square and quarter square triangle by my favorite June Taylor. And I don't even think I've used this yet, but I will be laying the block here, and it has the lines that you cut. And they vary from 1.5 inches up to 6.5 inches. How cool is that? So that should make cutting all of these, because I'm going to have to finish them off, to 4.5 inches. And that should make it easy. So I'm taking that along with me. I went ahead and put one of my new Missouri Star quilt blades in here. And I'm going to, later on, I'm going to test it, make sure it works good. And then I can take some extra blades with me. I will be using them when you have to go from, when you cut apart the blocks. It also said to bring some marking implements in case we need them. So I do have some of those ready. One of the big things that I need to do is I need to refill my bobbins. This is what my first YLI silk threads came in, and now I use it along with the little hair things to keep my bobbins from unwinding, and I'm going to wind a bunch of bobbins. Best trick I ever learned when you go to take a class, because it's all fun and games until the bobbin runs out. And who wants to take class time to wind a bobbin? Not me. All right, and I'll probably take a pencil with a white eraser, okay? White eraser, because you don't want to erase anything with a colored eraser that you don't want that to turn that color. So let me show you. This is, you can tell it's what I've been doing the past 2 days. Here are her class information. I'm going to make sure I've got all of this. And then, let me put that over there. Whoops, no, actually, let me put everything back in my big envelope so I don't lose it. But this, I like the way the pattern is written. I love the paper it came on. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So, here is a list, because I tend to be a little retentive, but I have a list of everything I have to do before I go. So what I do is I say, I plan the meals I'm going to eat when I'm gone. What lunches am I going to eat? What kind of snacks do I want to take to have? Things to pack for the class. And I just go over every little thing. I picture myself sitting in class and sewing, what do I need? Because the first thing you always do, pack your foot pedal and your cord. Without one of those, you are dead in the water. So please, that's the first thing you pack. But I'll give you an idea of what I packed. June Taylor ruler, rotary cutting mat, slotted ruler, ironing board, my iron in a special heat-resistant bag, bobbins, threads to match, my lamp, my extension. I have a round multi plug extension, kind of electric extension cord. I put down here rotary cutter with new blade, small wool ironing mat, and the vinyl tablecloth. And then I'm also like, what things to pack for clothing? Because if you don't write it down, if I don't write it down, I will forget it. And there's also an indoor swimming pool. So I'm taking my bathing suit. Yay! So I write down everything I need, socks, shoes, everything. Then what things to pack for fun? Like my computer, some magazines, my Nook reader, earbuds, and then 2 hand projects to work on. I'm not going to want to sew on my machine. That'll be at the class, and I don't have to move it. I put it in my class Thursday morning before 9 a.m., and I don't take it until I'm done on Saturday afternoon. So I want hand things to do in the room because I can't sit still. I have to be doing something. I even wrote down here baggies for shells because I'm going to go beach combing. So I'm excited about that. But then what kind of camera supplies, since I'm going to take y'all with me. So anyway, I write down all of this and then I check it off as I get it done. So that's important. Then I write down, I thought I might have to go buy fabric for the class. And yes, they're going to have a couple of vendors at the party, but I thought I might have to get some of this fabric ahead of time. So I looked up a couple quilt shops, and then I put the address of the hotel. And I will make sure that these are keyed into my GPS before I go. But I also, if some reason that GPS doesn't work, I have it all written down. So this is what I do. I'll make sure. I don't think anyone wants to see my COVID inoculation page, but I've got that. I already went to the bank and got out some cash because I like spending cash with the vendors. And so anyway, I think I'm doing pretty good. I took out my pink tote that carries all of my sewing supplies. And I've gotten that out and gone through it. So I told Mark, I want everything loaded in the car, the the day before I leave, because that morning I don't want to be rushing at all. And I think it's only going to be about 4.5 hours at most, and that's with stopping. So anyway, all right, anybody? Oh, people, some of you are doing your room and your collection and your stash organization. I'm so proud of you. That is wonderful. One thing at a time. Good for you. Yes, I tell you what, as much as I try to keep my room clean, when I realized last year I did 36 projects with the YouTube channel, I'm like, no wonder. I said, Mark, that's 3 a month. I mean, hello. So today I'm going to talk to you about the landscape, because you probably remember that last week we did a marsh, just an easy warm up. We painted the fabric. Now I need to do some more reeds, the grasses in here, but I love this. Mark really likes it too, which, he's a harsh critic. But then I want to do at least 3 more landscapes to start off the new year. I want to give you basic skills and give you inspiration to do other things. So I went ahead and got out 4 pieces of printer paper, because I'm going to make you a pattern for anyone who wants it. And I like to do it on printer paper because then I can take it apart and I know I can scan it, send it to you, and then you'll be able to print it. But when I was looking at the options, I got stuck. So I'm going to show you how I start a landscape project. Then I'm going to take you to see my inspiration photos and let you vote for the first one. So let me see. All right. So the first thing I do, let me come over here. Got my new lighting. Let's see how that works. So I come over here. Okay. And I get a piece of muslin. Okay. Now, I figured I will start from the beginning. I like to use muslin. For one thing, you could use any scrap fabric, but you don't want to use, whoops, better let it warm up first. You don't want to use any color fabric that is going to seep through any color you might want to use. So like you could take scrap fabric that you don't like, but if it's a strong pattern, it might telescope through the fabrics you put on the top. So I like muslin. It's inexpensive, but any fabric that you want to use that you can build your quilt on. But this is the most important thing. Now, if you wanted, you could use old linens that were given to you from your grandmother or something. If you've got a box of linens you don't know what to do with, and they're not precious, then go ahead and use them as your foundation. You could even use old sheets. Old sheets are tougher to sew through. You'll notice people say, do not use sheets for backing. Well, just because, especially if you're going to quilt by hand, this fabric, quilting fabric, is about 60 threads per square inch. Sheets are 200 threads per square inch. So if you are going to do machine quilting, it's harder, but hand quilting, it is about impossible. Think about if you've ever tried to hand quilt batiks. Then you're going to see what that's going to be kind of what it does. Batiks, I've heard some people say batiks they're the same cotton fabric as regular quilt fabric, that maybe it's the process of batiking, the inks they use, and the wax that makes it feel stronger, tougher, thicker? Or is it, or do they use a tighter weave? And I don't know. I truly don't know. But I've heard it both ways. Now I'm making sure that I just go ahead and give this a good pressing. It's so much easier to work with when you give it a good pressing. If you want, you can go ahead and starch it, whatever makes you happy. Then, let me see if there's a particular side. No, it all looks good. I'm going to take some of this fusible interfacing. This happens to be a lightweight. I don't think I'm going to need a medium weight. A medium weight will make it much thicker. And I'm going to then put the nubby side down. You can also look under a light and the fusible will really shimmer. You can kind of see it. But mainly I just judge what side by feeling the nubby splotches of the glue that they spray on your interfacing. Now read your instructions on your fusible interfacing. Some like you to use a damp pressing cloth. Some want you just to put it in place for up to 12-15 seconds. Me, I just iron away at it. Now, one thing to remember though, if you over iron it, the glue will move from the fusible into the fabric. Have you ever put fusible on something and then for whatever reason, it doesn't stick to the fabric anymore? That's because you did it too long and too hot. The glue moved from this into the backing. And once it does that, there's not enough to hold the two pieces together. So don't overdo it, but make sure you do a pretty good job. If you have time and patience, I would go around the edge of this with a nice basting stitch, because with a lot of handling, sometimes the fusible at the edges will kind of come loose. And that can be a pain because then you're always having to check when you're getting ready to sew on the top of it. You always have to check and see if everything is all smooth and nice. So, okay, I'm just about done with this. But this is the first thing that you do. And what I like to do, I iron it on the back first, but then I turn it over and I give it a really good pressing from the front, the right side. And that usually finishes any fusing. But, oh, and I don't know if you noticed, if there is any color bright threads in between the fusible interfacing and the muslin, take them out because they will telescope through. Now, hopefully, you're going to be putting on intense enough colors, but let's say it's a snowy scene. If you have a dark blue scrap thread that's in between your fusible and the muslin, guess what? It's a good chance you'll see it through. So just make sure everything is cleaned and lined up. And here you go. Now, there's one more step, and that is to take the piece and make sure it's laid out smooth, that it's not puffy or creased. To lay it out smoothly and iron a crease right down the middle. Let me make sure that I've really gotten these edges on good. Okay, and then I like to come fold it this way and crease it. Now, if I'm going to be doing one of the techniques where you fold the drawing in 16ths and then you fold the fabric in 16ths, then go ahead and do that. But my drawing for this is going to fill up most of it. And you might wonder, well, why is it bigger all the way around than your fabric? You know, why is the fabric bigger all the way around? The reason is because my drawing most likely will fill the whole paper. You have to leave extra fabric because as you work and sew on it, as you do thread painting, it will tend to draw it up. And if you don't have a few inches around all the sides, you will end up running out of fabric, and then it would be very hard for you to put your binding on and to finish the quilting. So just start out with it a little bit bigger. And that's why I love using muslin, because it's cheap and it's easy to use. All right, so now I'm going to turn the camera around and show you your options for today's quilt. And of course, we're not going to get very far, and I apologize for that. But you'll see, when you see the ideas that I have, pardon me for this, you'll see why I had a hard time choosing which one I wanted us to do. So let me turn off this light. Let me turn off this one and show you. I kept making folders. The best one of this, the best one of that. Okay. I have done so much research. Okay. I'm going to show you the January 5 folder. And I had done so much researching to figure out. Let me make sure I haven't lost you. I'm trying not to touch anything wrong. Let me go back and, yep, okay, we're still there. Okay. But I collected so many ideas. I had to make a folder, one for beach, one for the favorites, mountain, Norwegian train, winter, and wooded. And then I still had a few that didn't quite fit in. But let me show you. So when I went to my favorites, then I thought, okay, what are the choices that we're going to choose from? And I looked like certain things I'm thinking might be too tricky to do or too much. You know, you just have to look at all of them. So now I'm going to bring up choice number 1. And there are 7 choices. And let me grab my scrap paper because, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so I've got it. I'll be able to write down your choices. Don't tell me what choice until you've looked at all 7 photos. Now, just to also tell you, the photo I draw will not be an exact copy because you have to make sure you don't violate any copyright rules. I try to always look for sites that have royalty free, but just in case, I always change. I just get, this is kind of the general feeling and idea that I was thinking about. So here is choice number 1. And I love, it has a bridge, a stone bridge. I love the creek. I love the rocks. I love the trees. And this is spring, but you could do a fall, you could do a winter, whatever you wanted. So this is choice number 1. We'll call it the stone bridge. Choice number 1. Choice number 2. This is called Tropical Island. Choice number 2. I love the color of the sunset. I love the boat up on the beach. I love this tree here in profile, and I love the palm fronds and some hilly parts of the island. So this is number 2, Tropical Beach. Okay. And this one is going to be hard for me to bring this up enough without it being blurry. But it's not going to be exactly like this, but this is where I'm going to get my inspiration. So let me see, the first tropical beach. Okay, the first one was, shoot. All right, this one is wooded stream. This is wooded stream, number 3. All right, and I love this because I love the nice big rocks here along the edge of the stream. I love the trees. I love the ground coverings. I love that it has a tree and a bush in the foreground, and then you get to see as they step back. This is number 3, the wooded stream. All right. Now, this one, I'm showing you this one because if you wanted to do, I love the simplicity of this landscape where they have just cut shapes and worked shapes in. So the different areas of this field are done in curvy piecing, which we've been doing a lot of. And then the tree line and the mountains, it's all curvy piecing. Even the tree is done like curvy piecing. And then the different colors of the land below. And I love the little flowers. And I think this is a little like church. I would probably make mine a barn. But this is called a summer field, I guess we'll call it. Number 4, summer field. Now you can change the season to whatever you want. And I will, whatever one you choose, I'll make a pattern. I'll do changes. I'm just using it as inspiration. And so that was number 4, summer field. Then I saw this one. And I have seen a book done like this. And this, we've even done as part of a safari. That this is where you take these strips and you fit them in. But I love the stripy look of all the different strips you can work. And I think the colors are very pretty. So it doesn't, I mean, I guess we could do a little more detail on it. But there's something simple in the look. So this is a strippy sunset, number 5. Strippy sunset, number 5. All right, the next one. Oops, hold on. All right, this one is a beach. Now, if I do a beach scene, I'm probably going to want to put a weathered old rowboat on it. But I just thought this was really pretty. What I love about this, I love the sunrise over here. I love some ocean, but not too much. I love the subtle differences in the sand and the way these dunes kind of curve to invite you right in. So, and in this one, I may want to put a pier coming out here. I may want to put a little old rowboat. So this is number 6, and we'll call this one Sunrise Beach. Number 6. All right, now we're going to go to this one. And I'm hoping you're seeing why I'm having such a hard time deciding. And this one we're going to call a woodland stream. And what I loved about this one, I love the trees in the background. It looks like a medieval forest. I love the stones, the little rocks, the translucent of the tannin-filled water. Now, if you want to make yours more blue, you can. But that just shows that there are plenty. It's gone That water has gone through a lot of oak leaves and picked up that rusty color. I love the waterfall. It's simple. It's not too difficult. I love the moss on the rocks. I just think it's very tranquil. So this number 7, woodland stream. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the beginning. That's right. This is the stone bridge. Stonebridge stream. All right. So number 1, Stonebridge stream. Number 2, Tropical Beach. Number 3, the wooded stream. Number 4, let me bring it bigger. This is the summer field or summer pasture. Okay. The next one is the stripy sunset or strippy sunset, since they're made out of bunches of little strips. Okay, that's number 5. Then number 6 is Sunrise Beach. Sunrise Beach. And I will have a pier kind of going out this way, and I'll probably have this not centered. I'll have it moved over a little so we can do other things. Add maybe a very old worn rowboat, maybe a pier. All right. And then number 7, the woodland stream. Okay. That's the woodland stream. So 7 choices. Now let me come back to you, and then I'll get your votes. And okay, because I was hoping that you could help, because I don't know. All right, I think I've got it. All right, let me bring it down just a little. All right, now I'm going to bring this, come back to y'all, and hopefully y'all are still there and I didn't touch a funny button. All right, so, okay, put your... Hi, Karen, I remember you. You like 2, 5, and 6. Which one would you like most? Which one is your absolute favorite? Let's go with that first. Dolores is number 7 or number 6. So we'll put one here and maybe or that one. Karen says number 2, which is the tropical beach. Okay. Mary says, oh, you're so sweet, Mary. Summerfield. Okay, that was number 4. Dolores, we got Dolores's, got Karen's. Diana be like number 7. Whoops, I hope. Yeah, Jody says 7. Debbie says 6 or 7. Okay. Mary said number 4. All right, so it's looking right now like the woodland stream is going to be your favorite. What do you think? Does that, because I have 4 votes for woodland stream, 2 backup votes of the Sunrise Beach, and don't worry, we're going to do a beach one. We're going to do a farm field, that kind. We're going to do at least 3 more in the next 2 months. So don't worry. Whatever we don't choose today, we'll pick one from the next time. All right. So we're thinking the woodland stream. All right. Now what I'm going to do is this week I am going to work on a pattern, and I'm going to try to get it done sooner than later so I can put it on our site and send it out to anyone. Isn't it hard to choose? The bridge and the waterfall. I know. They're both beautiful. Now you know why I was like, oh, here, Maria. Hi. You like 1 and number 7. So, okay. All right. So that makes 5 for Woodland Stream, 2 backups for Sunrise Beach, 1 for Summerfield, 1 for Tropical Beach, and 1 for the Stone Bridge. So, all right. Opposed, say nay. Somebody's been watching the Congress lately. And no speaker has been chosen. What does that mean we watched all 13, 15 times? I don't know. All right. So they are really wonderful. I think a lot of fun. Okay. And we are going to be doing probably a mountain one. We're going to probably do a woodland one. We're definitely going to do a beach one. And then after we do this one plus 3 more, we're going to do an undersea fantasy or reality, whichever you prefer. But we're going to do an undersea scenery. So I'm very excited. On Sunday, I showed my whale quilt. Jody did the most magnificent octopus, called it Bacon of the Sea. So cute. So we've done some really cute. We'll make sure you get, I tell you what we'll do. We'll put a mountain in the background, then the pasture, and then a house or barn. So we'll cover all. We'll cover them all. All right. We have a choice. Now, next Thursday, I'm probably not going to do a live stream. If I do, it'll be a surprise because I'll be right in the middle of the classes. But Sunday at 7 p.m., I'm going to do a live stream from the hotel, show you the pictures from on the way up and checking into the room and the beach, how the beach is looking, and for Miss Marcia, how their pier made it. I don't know how their pier made it through the latest hurricane. So I will take pictures of all of that. But I'm hoping that I'm going to draw up the pattern for this by tomorrow. And then please remember, and if you want to join our group, we'd love to have you in Groups.io. It's all free. It's just a way to us to contact each other more than just every Sunday. But if anyone wants to join or wants the pattern that I will make, our time to quilt at twc.com. Get my glasses to make sure. It's so funny. When I had, right before my cataract, I got my reading vision back. And she said, it's only because your cataract is so bad. And she said, when we fix your cataract, you're going to lose that ability to read without glasses. And I said, okay, I'm ready. Because I had to have my full vision when colors start going off, when the world just kind of mutes down. That's really hard. Well, my battery's running low. I forgot to plug in my computer. Oh, or Mark did. Oh, so anyway, hopefully, is everyone still there? I'm hoping I didn't lose it. All right. Well, Sunday at 7 p.m., I should be there and be all moved into the room. And if I decide to have one sometime that week, it'll be a surprise. And but I'm going to take movies of all my activities so you get to see what it's like. All right. Thank you so much, Karen. It is so good seeing you. And who was our other new one? Was there a Brenda? Oh, I don't want to forget. I like acknowledging all of our new people because new people make it fun. And Sue Lambert. Hello. Let's see. Yep. Oh, I can't figure out. Yeah, I guess it was Sue Lambert. Do I take a seat cushion? Yes. Because my bahani gets sore if I sit too long. And even with the seat cushion, it's like, whoa. So I need to remember to get up and walk around because usually I get so involved and so engrossed, I don't move, but I'm going to have to this time. So it is so good. I thought there was one more pins. Yep, I've got to. In fact, I've got to fix. I think I'm going to take this pin cushion. I love taking these. And the reason I love it is because I can see it above my sewing machine table. So it's easy for me not to lose. And so, but I've got to refresh it. It's like this one's full and this one doesn't have many. So I will be doing that too. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for doing some of my work for me because I could not pick one. I like them all. And I said, well, I'm going to get them to help. Yes, so be busy this week, Miss Polly. Get that fabric organized. And then when we get back, so the next Art Quilt Thursday is going to be, all intents and purposes, in 2 weeks. Next week, I'll be at the retreat. Mark's going to stay here and hold down the fort. But, so I will get the pattern to you so you have a chance to audition your fabrics. I'll also give you that image so you can kind of look at all of the little things. And I told Mark, if I find some good landscape fabrics, since we are going to have some vendors there, and the vendors are really good at stocking supplies. They go through the class list and they stock the actual supplies. So I'm hoping there is a landscape quilting class there. I'm hoping they'll have landscape fabrics. So I might stock up on a few and offer you an inexpensive way to have some landscape fabrics. And I'll show you what I bring back and let me know if you want any of them, because it's really hard to find good landscape fabrics. And this class is a really good opportunity. All right, take good care of yourself. I'll see you Sunday evening, 7 p.m. at the hotel. All right, take good care of yourself. Stay warm, stay dry, and do something special just for you, especially if you're organizing your sewing room. Every day that you finish a half an hour of work, treat yourself to a book or a movie or something special. All right. Take good care. Thank you so much. Sticky tape. Absolutely. In fact, I usually take my painter's tape. So now, thank you for mentioning that. I will put it in my list. Oh, to mark the rows. Yes, she was talking about gotta mark the rows. All right, everybody. Take good care of yourself. See you soon from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Y'all are the best. Take good care. Bye-bye.